Welcome back to MilSurpBros. Today we're going to look at a very interesting revolver. Today what we have for you is the M1895 revolver from Russia. It's interesting to a lot of people because it is sort of odd because it's a gas seal revolver. You actually have, and we'll show you this in a little inlet in the video, a cylinder that seals to the barrel of the gun. So when you fire it, it actually doesn't have any outgassing on the side or the here, so technically speaking, you could put your hand right there and you'd be okay. The other benefit of this, if you'll see, we're unloaded, by the way. The loaded gate is open here, as you saw in the little inlet. But when you cycle the cylinder here, it pushes the actual cylinder forward, and you have no gap there between the cylinder and the barrel. Let's do a little shooting, and then we'll talk about some other interesting features of this gun. Okay. We'll actually get my loaded gate out of the way so I can drop the hammer back down. All right. Now, the Nagant revolver also uses an interesting sort of ammo. You'll notice here we were getting a little artsy there. We decided to put out all of the ammunition we would need to load here. You'll notice, if you're pretty smart and you've been through grade school, that that is 7 rounds. Most of your revolvers are 6 or even 5 in some cases. This is interesting because it uses a small enough caliber, actually at 30, 7.62 by 39, which we have there also, that it is small enough to put 7 shots into the revolver at once. Also interesting, you'll notice, well, that looks really strange. The bullets are pushed down into the case, and that's correct. The reason that they're like that, and you can see that here, this is actually one of the military rounds that's pushed down into the case, is that in order for the gas seal portion of that to work, it actually has to seal on the very end of this case to the beginning of the barrel. So it expands out, seals up, and then you actually get a higher velocity round than you otherwise would had it not been made like that. So let's go ahead and load a couple of these up. We've got a couple targets downrange. We'll see what we can do here. As you have in most revolvers, you have a loading gate there. It's very primitive. It's actually literally just a bar of steel. It's fairly unimpressive, but for wartime production in Russia, it was completely sufficient. So you just load each round individually, putting one in at a time. Takes a second because there are 7 rounds. Pretty simple, regular process there. I've just dropped one of my rounds, so I'm going to have to destroy my art exhibit here by taking one out. There we go. Cool. Then you close up your loading gate, which has a little knurled edge there so you can get a hold of it, and then you're ready to go. Pretty simple. Now this gun does have an interesting kind of trigger pull. It's about 20 pounds from the factory. That's how they build it. And even if you go into single action, which is also an option, it's 13 pounds. So it's kind of a lot. I actually know people personally who cannot pull the trigger on this gun double action and have some trouble on single action. So it's not exactly the funnest thing to pull. Let's see what we can do here. And I'm going to wuss out here and try it on single action just because it makes my life easier. And I can actually possibly hit something. Here we go. Steel plate down range. About 25 yards. There we go. Good first shot. Missed that one high. Does have a tendency to stick on these military rounds sometimes. Get near it. There we go. There we go. Yeah, those military rounds sometimes get stuck on the barrel for some reason. Hit again high, doing the same sticky. Here we go. I'm gonna have to switch to our privy in a second. There we go. Second one. That's still sticking. Well, this is as good a time as any, I suppose, to show you the unloading mechanism since those are sticking. This revolver is actually extremely simple in how it reloads. You have a little center of cylinder little piece of metal there, comes out. You turn that sideways, and you go through here, and having not its own way to eject rounds, you actually have to push the thing back through, pull each individual cartridge out, cycle that back through there, push the next one out. Some of these you can literally just do it with your fingernails. You do have to get it out of the way for each round. That one's stuck in there pretty good. Some of these military rounds have pretty high pressure, so they get stuck a bit. Like I said, kind of jams up the whole works. The PPU is a little bit more forgiving to the gun. You get to press pretty hard on some of those. Don't have that problem again with the PPU stuff. I think there's a couple of these that went unfired because we had to cycle around a couple times there to get it out of the way. Not the gun's fault, again, just some pretty hot loads on there. That one we didn't fire, so skip to that one. There. Alright. Just to save time on video, I'm going to go ahead and load up and we'll come back with you in a second. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch ammo. We had this here, which was the Russian military surplus from either 1938 or 78. I'm guessing 78 since it still works. And we are going to switch to the Privy Partisan 7.62 Nagant ammo there. It's a little bit better produced. It's a little bit more modern, so it's a little bit more forgiving to the gun and the shooter. Yours truly. I'm not a great shot with this gun anyway because it is a 13-pound trigger pull, but let's see what we can do with a little bit nicer ammo for me. We'll close the loading gate here and see what I can do. And if I concentrate and slow down, I think I can hit some of these. There's one. Not going to be a great feat of speed here. There we go. Oh, I was close. I hit metal there somewhere. There we go. Oh, close. I think this is my last one here. Yep. You know, 4 out of 7 ain't bad, especially with something that's that hard to pull. We do want to show you one other trick with this, just to show you that it is a gas seal revolver, but again, we're going to cut here so I can reload, and then we'll show you that trick. Okay, well, we said, again, there is a, unloading little bar here that you can use to press cartridges out, and that's the preferred method of extraction. What you can actually do with Privy Partisan, this is actually nice on these, is you can just turn the gun over, press them out individually, usually, or just, pick them out. But they'll usually generally drop out, and it's a nice thing. Plus, I imagine if you were in battle, this would actually be a quicker method, although with that military stuff, you ain't going to be doing that. You actually do need the bar. Alright, so we were going to show you that this really truly is a gas seal revolver. You're not going to get any spray left and right. So we're going to do the classic old trick of putting a piece of paper next to it. If you do this with a regular revolver, your paper will be no longer in your hands, essentially. It will be in many, many pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire 3 shots downrange that direction with a piece of paper next to it, just to show you that there's no outpouring of gas, or if there is, there's very minimal amount. I also don't recommend that you do this at home, but we'll do it for you so that you don't have to get hurt doing this. If you do this with any other revolver than this, essentially in the world, you're going to get hurt. So don't try this with anything except a Nagant. Probably shouldn't even do it then, but here we go. Okay, I'm going to load around there. Well, I say.
And so they shot him till he was dead. Oh, those Russians.
I actually managed to hit 2 plates with that, but as you'll notice, put the handgun down for a second, there is nothing on this paper. Exactly as we started with, absolutely no damage. That thing seals up very nicely. I've heard stories that people would say take a suppressor and put them on the end of these revolvers. I think that's probably apocryphal, probably did not occur, if, maybe once or twice in the war, if somebody actually came up with that idea. People do it now. I have seen examples of this in the world that exist in modern day, but probably not a good idea as far as something that really happened in World War II. But it seals up, and it's a neat revolver. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this. We're going to do some more interesting handguns and rifles and shotguns for you in the coming month. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.
Nuopurista kuuluu se polokan tahti, jalkani pohjii kutkutti. Ievan äiti se tyttönsä vahti, vaan kyllähän Ieva se jutkutti. Sillä ei meitä silloin kiellot haittaa, kun me tanssimme laijasta laitaa. Saliveli hipput, tupput, tapput, äppyt, tipput hiljalleen.